Hello everyone, my name is Eric Beach and this is the behind the scenes featurette for Amazing Love. This is going to be a little bit different compared to the traditional behind the scenes featurette. The reason being is that the nature of the project was kind of sensitive. It was a birth mother giving birth to a baby and then giving that baby up for adoption. So there was the birth mother, the adoptive family, doctors, nurses, and all that staff, and the emotions were so high that even bringing one more person on to film me filming the action would have been a little bit much in my opinion. So I wanted to really respect that, respect where their limits were and not push past that, because I just felt so honored to be invited in to document this process and tell their story. So what I thought I would do is kind of sit down with my edited film and take you through what I did, why I made some of the choices that I made, to kind of give you insight into how I built the story out of what I had. So let's get on the computer and see what we can do. So what we did, we actually had the adoptive parents wrote letters to the daughter and to their future daughter, and they also wrote to the birth mother, where the birth mother wrote to her daughter and to the adoptive parents. And so I kind of wanted to do a sequence of the letters being written and read so that I would have my audio, which is where I use the Rode microphone. As I said before, I wasn't able to actually bring a second shooter with me to shoot this film, so what I'm going to do now is demonstrate to you with my wife, Jenna, as my assistant, how I captured the audio using the Rode VideoMic Pro. So what we did is we ended up using this kind of like a boom mic. I mean, it's a condenser microphone, so it works the same as a boom mic. So what I do is I get it framed up above my subject, and I'm going to aim it down and try to aim the microphone so it's aiming towards her chest instead of straight onto her mouth. Aiming it down towards the chest, you get the full range of audio highs, mids, and lows. So what I do is I get it framed the way I want it, get my focus using expanded focus on her eyes, okay. Jump back out, and I'm going to have her read. It's going to be a user manual for my Ulight kit, so it'll be very interesting.
In order to achieve the correct placement of the ring, make sure the ring is locked on both sides of the lamp socket. You will notice a secure latch if you gently pull and it does not unlatch.
Perfect. Very compelling stuff. Okay, what I want to do is kind of show you another angle that you can use. Another thing, I like to do it too, so I have something to cut between in case there's ahs and ums, because like I said, they aren't actors, so they're going to potentially make mistakes. So the other thing you can do is shoot from a downward angle. I still think, you know, it's a little bit bassier as it falls off that direction, but it still gives you a good sample versus just even with your subject. So what I'll then do is kind of jump down from a low angle and kind of get in where I'm looking a little bit up, so I get her looking down at the paper. Okay, and you can read.
In order to achieve the correct placement of the ring, make sure the ring is locked on both sides of the lamp socket. You will notice a secure latch if you gently pull and it does not unlatch.
So that's my process when using the VideoMic Pro to actually capture my audio. I like it for a couple different reasons. One, it gives a great sound, so it's just like a boom mic, same principle, not quite where you would want it, but it gets you really close to that same kind of sound. The other thing is that with these people in this situation in this film, miking them with a lapel mic might feel like a little bit much, so it makes it seem like you're a lot less intrusive, and people really do appreciate that if they're not prepared to give this speech or do these things like an actor might be used to. So it's all around, it's one of my favorite techniques, and I've had good luck with it and good success. So give it a try and see how you like it. And the reason I like this is it just really, for me, it just gives a really personal, intimate feel. Like it's the person creating. They're writing this letter out. They're pouring their heart on a pen and paper. And why wouldn't you want that on there as part of the story? Plus, it gives me a good source for audio. I mean, these people aren't actors, so when you give someone a pen and paper and say write your feelings, and then just read it, you know, and if you make mistakes, I'll edit it out and I'll make you sound good. It tends to take the anxiety out of it. That's what I've found. And so they can give you this good audio, this heartfelt speech, but if you just ask them to go ad lib or write a script, it's not going to sound like them. It's not going to sound, their heart's not going to come through. So that's why I like to do that. And I filmed a lot, and I narrowed it down to these, and actually, she wasn't actually like in pain in this moment. If I take it out, extend it out to show what happens next. So what I ended up doing is kind of, I didn't get the exact moment I wanted, so I made it kind of out of what I had. So here's what it looked like without it being cut.
I didn't give you the gift.
So she wasn't really like, she was in pain in that moment, but she wasn't, it looks more dynamic than it really was. In a run and gun situation, you're not going to get everything perfect the way you want it. But what you can do is get those moments and trim down the moment to get what you want, even if it's not the emotion. This emotion is real. It's just not in that moment that I filmed it. But I can edit it down where it looks like the emotion that I want, that she did feel during that day, that I just didn't get that shot. Trim it down and put it in, and I can convey that emotion in that manner. And that's something that I like to do a lot in these situations because they're not scripted. I knew that the song was going to build, and it was going to hit a moment, and that's when I wanted to go into the first big moment. So I'm building up to that, so everything is leading up to this moment. And something about this shot, I didn't I didn't have a slider or any of my gear with, because my slider, the 1/4 inch bolt, broke, so I couldn't mount any cameras onto it. And hospitals are great because they always have all kinds of stuff. So I used this without my slider. I just took the lunch tray, like wheelie thing, and set my camera on top of it, and then just kind of tried to do a makeshift like truck shot where I had like a rail system where I'm driving it around and doing a little arc. And it worked. You know, it's not perfect, but I like it. You know, I like having matching my movements with the music. So if the music is, you know, flowing back and forth, I like to have smooth pans. And also, you know, with this, you know, I'm introducing a little foreshadowing of the birth, where the daughter's going to go, where the adoptive family is actually going to be taking the baby. So I'm introducing the last location at the beginning to kind of create a story arc. So here, you know, we're establishing the room. And again, like I said, I like to do the pans and I like to do tilts and all that. Very slow and smooth because it kind of matches the mood of the song, I think. And this shot also, I didn't have my slider, so I just held the monopod. And you can do it, like, you can take a monopod if it's heavy, you know, enough. If it's really flimsy, it's not going to work. But if it's heavy enough, that weight will actually act almost like a glide cam or a steady cam or something like that. But for just moving your body, just shifting your body across like that and holding it and keeping it steady and keeping your legs wide, you look really cool when you do it. No, not at all. But it works, you know, like when you don't have the gear, you can't sacrifice a shot, or you don't have to. And that's something that I truly believe in because, I mean, I wanted that shot and I just slid it and it works. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. I'd much rather have a slider, but I didn't. And just a quick note, something I like to do is also, it's trying to mimic a crane shot with a monopod. It certainly isn't a crane shot, but what I do is sit on a monopod with the camera kind of facing down, and as I'm pushing forward, it's going down, but I'm leveling it out. So what I'm doing there is starting back and then sweeping forward, but I'm changing the angle of the camera as I do it. So the second verse is coming up, and I was thinking, what is going to be my next big moment? What am I going to put when the chorus hits? What I thought was the best would be to show the adoptive mother really connecting for the first time with the baby. So what I did was show this shot. Music gets big, and there's that connection of forehead to forehead. I think it's pretty. I think it's beautiful. So it made it. And I was able to sequence it to give it a multicam feel by matching action. She had done that a couple times, so I noticed it. I liked it. So I got this shot from far away, from one angle. She goes down, and then I'm able to cut on that action to then make it feel like that was the same moment that happened, but really that was spread out over about, you know, 3 or 4 different times of her giving a kiss and then putting her forehead to the baby at the end of the film. And I thought a good conclusion would be baby in the crib alone. So here's what we have. That same move, and it ends.